We are getting so far along here, and you have done a fantastic job at talking about who you are and what you care about and what's important to you, and sharing information with your classmates. This week we're going to do something really, really special. We're going to do something that every politician is doing, every ad is doing, everybody who's ever wanted to convince you to see their point of view is doing. We're going to learn about speaking with persuasion. This is so important in our lives. There's so many things that we care about our loved ones and friends knowing about, and we want them to understand and hear us. Persuasion can help. There are times when we want our children to put their shoes on, eat their vegetables, go to bed. Persuasion can help with that. There's times when you want to convince another person to come to church with you or to go to the movies with you. And there's times when you want to talk to your professor about improving your grade. Persuasion can help all of that. And what is critical for persuasion is learning to increase and improve your credibility. So this week, we're going to dive into chapter 17. I think chapter 17 is one of the most important chapters. In fact, it's so important that on the syllabus, that is the only chapter we're reading this week. It is so, so valuable. And it's definitely worth studying because persuasion is really, really important. We are all individual people with our own individual point of view, our own values and dreams, and we are out in the world trying to help other people understand the world the way we do. And to be felt and understood and to be known is to share ourselves and help the other person come to a place where they can see through our eyes. But at the same time, every other human being is doing the same thing with us. They want us to understand their point of view and where they're coming from, and maybe even change our mind. So persuasion is so incredibly important to understand for our own needs, and also to be a good listener, to be a good friend, to be a good partner. We need to understand about Let's talk about credibility. It is vital. You may think of credibility as being a reputation, and that's true to some extent. People want to believe and listen to someone who has a good reputation, who has integrity, who helps others, who obviously cares, someone who is fair and just. But that is not all credibility is. Credibility can also be increased and improved through three things: your reasoning, evidence, and using emotional words and including emotions in your speech. So we've all heard amazing orators who have given very, very emotional, rousing speeches. The persuasive speech is there in a certain order. They're giving information like any other speaker would in using Monroe's motivated sequence, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But the emotional words, or inspiring the heart and the feelings of the audience, can absolutely switch and influence how the audience receives the information. The same thing with reasoning. Reasoning allows you to understand how the speaker arrived at their decision, how they came to the place where they believe what they believe. It helps the audience be able to picture exactly the process the speaker went through, or would like them to go through, to arrive at how a decision was made and the obvious solution. And part of building credibility is also evidence. Evidence is, well, this happened in the past and this was the result. So if we do X thing, the result will be Y. So evidence is a really, really great way of adding facts, adding historical anecdotes, adding studies to show that what you're talking about has reason. And the use of it, we can always add an emotional component, how you will feel once those results take place. So credibility can really, really enhance what your persuasive. As I said, chapter 17 is chock full of the most important data. You'll see three different types of credibility: initial credibility, derived credibility, and terminal. And you'll learn a lot about competence and character as well. Who you are absolutely matters. You can be influenced, or anyone can be influenced by someone who has really negative or even toxic motivations. That happens all the time. There are influencers, there are pundits, there are journalists, there are politicians, there are all kinds of people who are trying to persuade audiences, large audiences, and using all the techniques of persuasion, but it's coming from a place that is dark and has ill intentions. We don't want to do that. We want to be leaning into our faith, our integrity, our character, and our competence. And we'll discover that more and more as we read this chapter and decide what it is that we want to choose for our own persuasive speeches. What we decide that we want to speak about can really better our community. We can be talking about stopping smoking, the benefits of taking up whatever your favorite sport is, the benefits of having a relationship with animals or being in nature. We can talk about anything that you want to persuade your classmates to do that might improve their life, improve their health, lighten their heart, help them academically, help them with their families. I mean, it's all kinds of things that we can persuade others to believe, think, or act on that are actually leaving the world a better place and serving the Lord and instilling Christian. You'll notice that chapter 17 has a whole section on fallacies. Now, this is exciting stuff because you can never learn the fallacies well enough. I think it comes up in many majors. It comes up sometimes in high school. You probably have read them before. You'll recognize them when you see them. I think it's important to study them and to always understand, because as we are attempting to persuade others with our persuasive speeches, other people are always trying to persuade us as well. And they're going to use reason, and they're going to use evidence, and they're going to use emotions, but they may use them with arguments that are a little shady and not exactly honest or with integrity. Those are what fallacies are. It's a matter of manipulation, gaslighting, and trying to sell an idea or a product that maybe isn't that valuable, really and truly. And when someone is guiding you to a poor decision, we need to be able to spot that immediately. And also, as we are building integrity as persuaders, persuasive speakers, we want to avoid using anything that might end up actually being a fallacy. So it's really, really valuable to have those and to always be studying them, so that when you are in either a debate or a disagreement, or even around the table with family and a political topic comes up, it's really, really important to understand when a fallacy is being used to persuade. And so it's a matter of critical thinking to be able to address an argument and see if it really has value. And when we're persuading others, we want to make sure that the things that we choose to say, the information that we choose to give, and the way that we choose to say things are at the highest possible integrity. And knowing what can come across in a way that might end up actually being manipulative is really, really valuable, because it's easy to innocently desire so much to have someone agree with you or see your point of view that we say something that ends up being counterproductive. So the fallacies are something that just lifts the veil and allows us to see truth just a little bit more clearly. Let's jump to the ALA this week. It's going to be different and it's going to be exciting. And of course, there's a template in the textbook. This textbook, chapter 17, is a winner. And the template on page 309, just follow it to a T and you're going to do great. It's very, very interesting. Again, we're taking the veil off so many things that are happening in life. We are bombarded with influencers, with ads, with people trying to convince us of things, with people arguing online. Monroe's motivated sequence is the proven and tested order of operations to take an idea that you have and deliver it to somebody else in an order and in a technique that gives you the very, very best chance of convincing them to see your point of view and to act or believe something that you would like them to believe or act on. It is kind of amazing that there's a recipe for this, and there's a sequence, and So we're going to use it this week. We're going to use it for good. We're going to find something that we want to convince our fellow classmates of, or our loved ones, or our friends. It can be, your audience can be who you choose, preferably our classmates. And we're going to outline a persuasive speech, persuading our classmates and friends and loved ones to either act a certain way or believe a certain thing. So, with great power comes great responsibility. Please do a topic that is going to help and to serve, and think about how to apply something life-changing, something spirit-raising, something absolutely positive, and put it into the order in Monroe's motivated sequence to make it happen. And see how you feel along the way. If you feel personally inspired, if you feel personally motivated as you're writing this, if you feel excited and you can't wait to deliver it, you're on the right track. If you're feeling the emotion, chances are your audience member is going to as well. All your audience members will. So think about what kind of joy that you want to spread in the world, and let's apply it to our ALA this week. You can also do something that is useful to you. It can be something for your household, if there's something tradition that you want to start, or a new healthy habit, or if there's some kind of study technique that you want to share. If there's anything that you want to do to progress our community further, I say go for it, and I can't wait to see what you do. So again, page 309 has a very clear outline of how to do Monroe's motivated sequence. Also, there's a bunch of YouTube videos about it too. This is not a secret technique. It's something that has been proven, it's been used. And as you get to learn it and you begin applying your own ideas to it and even memorizing it, you'll start to see it in ads. You'll start to see how certain YouTubers also subscribe to this sequence because they are trying to get you to act or to believe in a certain different way. You may even watch it with politicians. You may even watch it if you watch inspirational speeches online. So let's give it a try, and we're going to work on persuading one another to improve our lives, whether it's our health, our fitness, our spiritual life, our academia, our belief in ourselves, whatever it is that you want to do. Let's go and inspire one another this week. Best of luck and happy writing. I'm here for you.